Hey guys, welcome back to Jurassic Collectibles. I'm here primed with my mug of tea. It's in a Swiss flag mug today. So hello to any Swiss viewers tuning in. Today we've got something really exciting to share with you. It's a sneak peek at the brand new Papo 2018 toy line. And we're going to start off with this one. It's the Papo 2018 Amargasaurus. You can find the item featured in today's review and more at everythingdinosaur.com. Check out their site today. Now, we've already had a sneak peek at one of the 2018 dinosaurs from Papo. It was the juvenile Spinosaurus. It came as part of a 2-pack with the Ceratosaurus last year on the tail end of last year. And we have reviewed that one on the channel. Link is down below if you want to see the first 2018 dinosaur reviewed on the channel. But this is our second, the Amargasaurus. And when I saw the lineup for 2018, I have to be honest, this one probably appealed to me the least. Mainly because I prefer the carnivorous dinosaurs that Papo make. I really love the detail that they pack into those. And also this one's a smaller figure. And for some reason the paint scheme just doesn't appeal to me as much as the other figures. But actually in hand, it's a very nice little figure. In hand, the Amargasaurus is a little bit larger than I expected, if I'm honest. The paint job does remind me of something of a premium line Schleich figure. That's the kind of way I'd describe it. The detail is very, very nice. There's just something about the paint scheme on this one that I feel is just a little bit lacking. But the detail is still very nice, and if you're a Papo collector like myself, you don't want to pass this one up. Okay, so time to give you a little 360 of the Amargasaurus before we dive into the detail. It's actually a really nicely posed figure, and the detail is really outstanding. Papo are well known for making really detailed dinosaur figurines, and this one is not lacking in detail. Like I say, there's just something about the paint scheme. I think it's a little bit simplified at this stage. And if you know Papo, they do tend to mix up their paint schemes, so it's possible that this isn't final. This is like an early sample, and as time goes on, Papo tend to refine their paint jobs or adjust them a little bit. So I'm sure as time goes on, this one will be improved. But just first impressions, I think that from what I expect from Papo, this one could have been improved. The sculpt is incredible. I think it's just that paint job, the sort of block sandy color that they've used on the majority of the body. And you'll see that when we take a closer look. But if you were to just look at this in a store against other dinosaur figures from other makers, I think you'd still think, wow, this is an incredibly detailed figure. So I'm really being very critical based on the stuff that Papo have provided for us over the years. Starting off with the head sculpt, you can see we've got a really nicely detailed skull there. Very nicely seated eyes. I think the paint around the eye area could be improved, but overall it's very lifelike. This is not an articulated jaw. This is actually glued and attached on, even though there's a little bit of a seam line. This is not a posable jaw. And as you can see in some lights, the eyes do look a little bit odd. They seem to have put the pupil slightly offset on this side. And I think, yeah, just the paint job on this one just feels just a little bit lacking. They have applied different washes. So you've got a dark wash with like a sandy wash over the top, which is very nice. It might be that maybe the colors are a little bit too similar, so the washes don't feel so contrasting. Lovely sculpt work under the chin there. Look at that baggy skin there. Very, very nice. Lovely folds sculpted in there. And then as we move down the neck, we've got some really lovely sculpted creases under the neck. You've got more coarse sculpt lines. This does feel more hand sculpted than your traditional Papo figures. And I've always wondered how Papo make their figures so detailed, and I've always assumed that maybe they sculpt them larger and then shrink them down using miniaturization or 3D scanning and then shrinking them and 3D printing them. And it does feel like this one's maybe more one-to-one with the actual sculpt, which means that you kind of feel like less detail is packed in. But it's still a very lovely proportioned and sculpted figure, and I really can't complain too much about the sculpt. I'm just noticing that the tool marks here are quite coarse. So as we move into the shoulder area, you can see there's some really nice creases around here, lovely folds at the top of this leg. And you can start to see this block paint scheme that I'm talking about. It does feel very sort of one tone, but then that's broken up by these nice patinations going across the spine there. And I really love the way that they've sculpted the spine area here. Very, very nice. As we move into the legs, very nice creases on these forelimbs. And I like the contrast in the pose, the way you've got one relaxed back and one just lifting up. Very, very nice indeed. The toe claws have been carefully painted. And again, they've used nice washes on this. So you've got the dark wash coming through, showing off all that scaling detail. Some nice creases here across the torso. Very nice defined musculature in the back limb here. Again, nicely painted toe claws. As we move into the tail area, you can see there's some nice creases underneath here. And they've used a nice sort of white tone for the underside of the tail. It does feel a little bit well defined, almost like you can see the brush strokes here. But still, it's nice to break up this block color of this sandy yellow. Nice striping going on over the top, really nice fine scaling going along the tail. And what I really appreciate here is the nice elegant curve in the tail. When you're looking down the body of the dinosaur, that is really appealing. And I think if you're looking at it from another angle, it's just a nice dynamic looking tail. Nice thickness at the end here. As we move into the other side, you can see nice defined musculature. Again, you can kind of make out the tool lines on this one, so I do feel like maybe we're getting more of a one-to-one sculpt. Nice defined musculature on the back limbs here, lovely sculpted creases. Some of it does feel finer in terms of its detail. Look at the underside of the feet there, really, really nice. Lovely creases on the torso. Again, lovely work on the spine along the back. Lovely feeling of the skin being pulled across the body here, and I love this foot being lifted up. As we move into the neck, very nice, nice creases here, nice fine scaling. And then we go back to that head sculpt. So just how big is this figure? Let's crack out the tape measure. You're looking at about 10 inches long, about 25, 26 centimeters long. In terms of the height, you're looking at about 3.5 inches, about 9, 10 centimeters. And in terms of the width, if I'm going across the widest part of the body, you're looking at about 2 inches wide, about 5 centimeters wide. Scale comparison time and also detail comparison. Let's bring in the green Papo T.rex. This is the discontinued Rex, but you can see the kind of level of detail that we expect from Papo, and also the level of paint job, the quality of the finish. And you can see that really this T.rex does outshine this Amargasaurus. And this is kind of like a fan favorite, so it's not really fair to compare it with this Tyrannosaurus Rex. But I do feel like the Amargasaurus has something of a Schleich feeling to it rather than a Papo distinctive look. But you can see how small the Amargasaurus is. It is one of their smaller figures, so maybe that's why we're getting more of a feeling of a one-to-one sculpt. So let's bring in another fan favourite. This is the Papo Brachiosaurus. And I have to say, actually, these two display rather nicely next to each other. And in terms of what I was saying about the coarse tooling shapes that I was seeing in the sculpt, this Brachiosaurus does actually have similar sculpt lines. So, you know, I can't really complain too much. It just feels something about this paint job that is lacking for me as a collector. But I do think these display really nicely next to each other. And maybe I'm just being overly critical of this figure. Lastly, let's bring in our good friend, it's off colour Alan. And you can see how he scales there. Next to the Amargasaurus, comes up just to about his waist. So it is a smaller Papo figure, and maybe that's why I'm feeling the quality is lacking a little bit. Maybe I'm used to things that are bigger in hand. So there we have it, guys. That was today's look at the brand new 2018 Papo Amargasaurus. In some ways, maybe it's good to get this one out of the way first, because we've got some very exciting dinosaurs for 2018 on the way, including the Iguanodon, the Therizinosaurus, and the Carcharodontosaurus. Some really nice, exciting Papo carnivores, and a really nice classic dinosaur, the Iguanodon. So I'm really looking forward to reviewing those on the channel. And maybe I'm just being overly fussy with this one. It is a beautiful little figure, and I think if Schleich released something like this, I'd be saying this is absolutely amazing. I'd be gushing about it. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys. What can you tell from this video? Let me know in the comments down below, because you always notice interesting things, and I love to hear your thoughts. This will be hitting stores soon. You'll be able to get yours from everythingdinosaur.com. I'll put a link to that down below. Make sure you check out their website, because they do support this channel in a big way. Okay, guys, in the meantime, rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Now you've seen it reviewed, why not pick up your own at everythingdinosaur.com? Link is in the description.